Welcome back, fam. This is the section where I want to discuss what the main OT cast members would have been doing. So if the galaxy is split between two mostly equal forces, where would Luke, Leia, and Han be at that point? What would seem natural for them given what we know of their characters from the original films? Starting with Luke, I think that Episode 7 gets it kinda right. He would have tried to start a new academy, but the needs of the war against the Imperial Remnant would have taken much of his time. Therefore, only in his older years would he have had the freedom to train students. His academy would be only 1 or 2 dozen strong, with only 1 or 2 individuals showing real promise. This training would be haphazard, though, given Luke's responsibilities elsewhere in the fight against the Empire, and so his apprentices would likely be first and foremost members of the Republic military, who only trained with Luke when the time allowed. They could be elite Special Forces units, given their Force sensitivity, who Luke personally commanded, and he simply trained them on the side. As far as Leia is concerned, The Force Awakens got it mostly wrong. In the original Star Wars, she was a political and moral leader. She had civilian power as a senator, and used that to cover for the rebellion, feeding them information, money, and providing transport when needed.
I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away!
In Empire, with the Senate dissolved and her cover blown, she is a civilian leader who helps with military strategy but defers to people with battlefield experience.
Stand by, ion control. Fire.
I don't think we can protect 2 transports at a time.
It's risky, but we can't hold out much longer. We have no choice.
Launch patrol.
Evacuate remaining ground staff.
In the third film, Leia is actually completely disrespected. She seems to have no authority and no real understanding of what the plan is, having been replaced by this lady. She isn't briefed on the operation beforehand, doesn't know who's leading each phase of the mission, and goes down to Endor just to be with her boyfriend.
General, count me in.
I'm going on a tangent here for just a second, but there are so many silly decisions in Jedi that bug me. For a complete breakdown, I recommend Red Letter Media's commentary track on the film. It's great, just like all their content.
Time to flush the toilet like a good boy.
I'm going to focus for just a second on who was doing what and why, and then how this relates to The Force Awakens. Considering Leia's role in the first 2 films, she should have been the leader briefing the rebels on the Death Star to attack, rather than some woman we've never seen before and never see again, and then on board Home 1 during the sneak attack. Given her evolution through episodes 4 and 5, this was the natural ascension of her responsibilities. Additionally, Han should have flown the Millennium Falcon. You know, his iconic ship that he's flown in all the frickin' movies with Chewie as his co-pilot, while Lando just operated one of the turrets, or went down to Endor with Maideen and Luke, who should have led the assault on the shield generator. Calling Lando a general literally out of nowhere was stupid and pointless, and clearly written for convenience so he could stay in the movie. This is not a criticism of Billy D. Williams, by the way. As an actor, he does a great job playing the rebellion role in Return of the Jedi. It's only that his character was shoehorned into that role to keep him in the story, and not because the story needed him.
I got your promise, not a scratch. Would you get going, you pirate?
Okay, I'm done. Back to Leia. So the natural evolution of her role from the original films to the years after the Battle of Endor would have put her right at the top of the New Republic government. She would have been Space Obama, calling the shots from the highest seat of power, and not leading raids on Imperial Remnant forces as if the galaxy didn't need her talents elsewhere. And I don't want to hear anything about how Wikipedia says Mon Mothma was the first Chancellor of the New Republic, blah blah blah. Who was in charge of bringing Obi-Wan out of hiding? Leia. Who was trusted with the Death Star plans? Leia. Who was the civilian leader working in concert with military command during the Death Star 1 raid and the Battle of Hoth? Leia. Who gave Luke and Han their goddamn medals? Leia. Mon Mothma was on screen during the original trilogy for less than 30 seconds. She was clearly enlarged in the expanded universe, far beyond what she was in the films. Leia should have been space president.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Alright, so last we have Han. I must admit that it is hard to say what he would be doing at this point in his life. Having him go back to smuggling after Kylo destroyed the new academy is not a crazy idea. But remember, I'm arguing that this was the wrong place to start Episode 7. The better story was further back, and further back means no fall for Kylo. Yet. So if we allow for my slight fix of Han leading the fighter assault on the Death Star 2, and you take into account all his other encounters with Star Destroyers over his life as a rebel and a smuggler, Han would either be a high-level commander in the Republic Navy or an instructor at the Officer Academy teaching young fighter pilots what to do against large battleships, or both. Academy trainer would have been a fun wink and nod to Indiana Jones, though.
Neo, meaning new, and lithic. I-T-H-I-C, meaning stone. All right, let's get back to this site. Turkdene Barrow near Hazleton. Contains a central passage and 3 chambers, or cysts.
Okay, that took a little bit of time. Now I'm about 1,800 words in, and only just arriving at the title content. Sorry to keep you all waiting. But I had to justify my reasoning for the world building before we got to this point. Now that the galactic players and stakes are fully outlined, and our heroes' roles clearly defined, we can move to what the story should have looked like. So let's move on to it.